a lot of startups grow. So my first question to you is, I want to tell us about your journey, how it all started. You're in the fintech industry, but it didn't start from being in the fintech industry, right? So can you tell us a brief um introduction or story about how you started? And yes, so let's start with that. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Is this very clear?
Yes, it is.
Awesome, awesome. So, good morning, everybody. So happy to be here, and so happy that we have a lot of people from different states and cities in Nigeria. Um, I think my story started from 300 level in university. I went to Obafemi Awolowo University to study food engineering, and I figured out that that's not what will make me happy in life, being an engineer. So I kind of just scrapped school. Yeah, I finished, but I kind of just in my head just focused on what I wanted to do. So I made thankfully, I was able to make the contact that I needed to just have some particular people that will eventually be my first boss and my first mentor to teach me some things I needed to know. So my life started in Coca-Cola, and then I worked with a director in the director of marketing for Coke for about 5 countries. Um, Started up his business because I knew I was going to start a business. So I worked with him in his startup. It was a tough time. I think then I was earning 25,000 naira. So sometimes I would just take like 30 minutes walk because I didn't have transport fare. But it was all exciting. When I was doing all this, my family eventually got to know that I was doing that, and they wanted me to leave the work and go work in corporate. But I persevered and continued working because I was learning a lot. It didn't seem that I was learning because it was tough, it was hard. My boss was also very tough. Uh, I could also see a lot of mistakes that we were making. But that was like my first adventure in the startup world or in starting a business. I won't call it startup. Wasn't really a startup. It was just a small business. I was just getting started, and I was opportune to work in that place. And I think I was there for about. So I got a job immediately after school. Then I got this job. So I had not done my NYC. So I went back to do NYC while I was about to round off NYC. Um, the I was called to also come and work again in his office. So I went back. I was there for another, I think, 2 years. Then it was from there that I started Giddy Jobs. So Giddy Jobs started with my friend Samson because uh, we had a lot of friends that were moving back to Nigeria and they wanted to hire, So we actually started Giddy Jobs with zero naira. So they just wanted to hire a bunch of people. They wanted to do some social media stuff, and that was how we started. So we started Giddy Jobs from my office, from my boss. So it was like a side business. And then when I saw that, I just wanted to start. I just wanted to focus on business, just make the first mistake because I knew that the first business once that might not be the successful one. So I wanted to just get started early. So and I didn't have you know any close family mentor, family business to teach me that this is the right way to go, right? So I just ventured into it. I was very, very much single, staying with family, so expenses was low. So it was a good time to just venture out and take the risk.
Yeah. Okay.
So
All
yeah,
right.
that
Thank
was
you.
how it started.
Oh,
Yeah.
go ahead. Go ahead. Sorry.
yeah, so that was how I started getting jobs, and that journey was from about 2014 to about 2017. 2017. So 2017, we reached a lot of milestones. We got a US award, and then when I got back, you know, started working with state government, consulting, not like full-time work, so consulting for a state government, work for a particular indigenous consulting firm. Wow. Then 2019, I was I had to just take some time out to find out, okay, what's the next thing to do, because I was getting bored. And there was this, 2019, we were hearing a lot about pay stacks, Flutterwave, you know, the maps was just coming up to there. A lot of people were just making waves in the fintech world, and my experience in business was you should always learn to ride the wave. So I was thinking of what's the new thing to do, what's the new thing to do, what's the new problem to solve here, you know. So we started thinking, started praying, and that's how we got to starting Eazipay. Thanks.
Thank you very much, sir. That was a lot. Yeah, so as we can all hear from him, he didn't start yesterday, he didn't start last week, he has been in it for a while now. Okay, so you have a famous quote. Let me read it out. He said, "A leader touches a heart before asking for a hand." Now, as simple as that sounds, it should have a story behind it. But before we go into that story, I want to ask, how do you pick your winning team? You're a leader and you see that you should also have people to work with you, right? And some of the people on this call are either startup founders or people who are looking to work in a startup or people who are currently working in a startup. So what would you say is qualities that they should either look out for as a startup founder or they should possess if they want to work in a startup? So, and you'd explain with you in person how you pick your winning team and the qualities you look out for in people. All right.
Yeah, so there are two ways to answer that question. And the first way is to look at yourself if you're working in a company. So you can be a good person. So the foundation is to be a good person. You know, I say that all the time. Be a good person. You attract who you are. You don't attract what you desire. You attract who you are. So the foundational truth is just be a good person. Um, do not be anxious. Whatever is not working right means that it's not working right because you don't know something. You don't know something, so you need to get to know something. For instance, if you apply for a grant and you didn't get the grant, it's because you didn't know something. It's either you didn't know someone, or you didn't know how to write the grant, or you missed out something. So I've always had that foundation, and so I never take anything personal. So the first thing is, if you might be a good person and you're working in a very bad place or a toxic environment or a place where they are owing you tons of salary. The first thing you want to do is, are you learning something that will be worthwhile for you in the future? You know, and a lot of people face that experience. I face that experience. You know, it's like, my last place of my one of the places I work. I'm sure people know over 10 months salary, but it doesn't have any effect on me. Like I still go there, I still play around. I'm sure they've forgotten about it. I'm sure I also don't have the record, but I know that it's over 10 months. You know, so but it was tough, right? But the main thing is money is not hard to get. That's money is not hard to get. What you need to always work on is yourself. You know, you need to work on yourself to always be somebody that will add value to anything, and money will follow. So that's the first thing. The second thing is, if you want to start a business, how do you attract people? Because the first thing I talked about is if you are working in a place. So if you're starting a place, if you're starting a business and you want to attract the right people, it also starts from being a good person. So if you're a good person, you have to also be patient. to really get what you want. So, like I have two co-founders at Eazipay. My co-founder at Giddy Jobs, very fantastic individual. So, my co-founder at Eazipay also has shares in at Giddy Jobs has shares in Eazipay because the last thing we think about is money. It's not the first thing. Money. I know that with all my co-founders, money will not cause a conflict. I mean, we've had arguments about this, which is around money, but it always gets resolved easily because I bend, they bend, because it's not an issue. So, and I'm saying that because if you fundamentally are a good person, then you will attract people like you. You know that you won't have conflict that won't be resolved because a lot of businesses die because of co-founders conflict. All right.
Mm.
Also, how do you attract the right workers? There's so many. So I think that in my journey, even when we didn't have so much to pay people, I remember one of my co-founders. I mean, both of my co-founders at Eazipay today did not earn anything for about 2 years.
Wow.
And one of my co-founder uh, built the payment infrastructure, all our payment infrastructure single-handedly.
Wow.
And when he built it, we didn't pay him anything. Bigger, like we didn't pay him anything because I didn't have money to pay him. So, but you need to see the future as you need to be visionary. You get as the founder, you need to be visionary because that's what you can sell. You know, I remember one time that we needed about 1.5 million naira, you know, and I remember how I got that from one of my uncles. I was just telling him in the car, you know, these guys that funded Flutterwave, that funded Paystack, that funded this company, they also fund us, you know. And I was like, oh, really? They'll fund you? And we never met those guys, you know. We've never done anything, but I had so much confidence, and obviously, eventually, yeah, we met those guys and they funded us at a very good position. But what I'm saying is that for you to be able to attract the right people, you must have that confidence in what you're doing. And you would have confidence in what you're doing if you are not dubious. You are not duping people. Your
Yeah.
solution is actually solving a problem. If you know your onions, you know, when a lot of founders at my stage, because we're still at the very, very early stage of my business, you know, talk to me and they ask several questions. I'm always shocked because I don't have those questions because I know everything about our business. I talk to the customers, you know, I anticipate customers' questions. I think about the customer 24/7 and how to make the solutions better for them. You know, I'm pained when they have issues, you know. So, you know, it doesn't take a lot. People ask, oh, it takes a lot. You're visionary. You're in charge of financials. You're doing this. How do you get time? I mean, it just takes. It just it's just a thinking that helps you to process how to prioritize, you know, your time and how to prioritize the things that you need to do, you know. So it's very important that, you know, you stay visionary, and it's with that vision that you can attract people, you know, attract very, very quality talent. And also, I think one of the other important thing is, because I look at the people we have in our company, and I was talking to one of my co-founders yesterday, and one of the things is that you also have to be, your vision inspires and your lifestyle, your decisions inspires people. So you also have to, you might not get, like for instance, when Kisley, my co-founder, built our payment infrastructure, he had not built any payment infrastructure before. In fact, he didn't have a knowledge of networking, right? But he knew he could do it because he was working with Asha. There was no excuse, you know, like, no, because I was learning a lot of my own job too. I was learning sales, I was learning a lot of things, I was learning about taxes, I was learning a lot of things. So there's really, you know, if you have to spend the night, if you have to spend the weekend, there are times that we've actually done a marathon for like 3 days. So it's what it is. You just have to do it. You write down the qualities you're looking for in people. Try and check your art if that's also what you project. You know, if that's what hurts me the most is when people say I'm not projecting what I am expecting because um, loyalty or whatever kind of quality you're looking for is a two-way street. You can't demand it if you don't give it. You know, so yeah, you're muted.
Thank you very much for that. Thank you for drawing my attention to that. Thank you very much for that. So I wrote down a couple of things from what you said. You said you need to be a visionary to so you can sell because your vision is what you sell, and that's a very valid point. You also said the foundation is to be a good person. You attract who you are and not what you desire or who you desire, and also be confident. And so now, so to those who are startup founders or who are working in startups, it is a two-way street, right? So you have to be bold, you have to be confident. You sound to ask in relations with what you just said, right? You said that be a good person. So I want to ask, okay, where does skill come into place? So would you pick someone with a degree, for example, a relevant degree, not just any kind of degree, or would you pick experience over education? I hope you get the question. Would you pick experience over education, or for example, if someone is probably not in the probably didn't study computer engineering or didn't even study business administration, right? And you need him for sales or anything. So how do you structure your co-workers? How do you say, okay, I want this in this person? Are there some roles that you can pick skills over experience, or are there other roles that it has to be experience? So what's your take on that?
Yeah, I think in order parity from day one, how I have picked the team is if my story or my vision does not inspire you to work with me, maybe to work with me under the conditions that I lay out or to negotiate the conditions that I lay out with me. If it doesn't inspire you to take an action about, working with me, oh, this idea is very fantastic, I want to be part of it, can we do this, then we can't move forward. We can't move forward. The idea, the ambition of the business, the vision that we have should be inspiring enough for you to try to work with us. So if that is not inspiring, there's really no need, to continue the conversation. Then after that is um, some bunch of questions or some bunch of uh, so we need to, and a lot of times we've been very right about certain people. I remember that there was a hire we made, and before the first month was over, we had to let the person go, and I knew that the person would go. Yeah, be quick to fire, but be slow to hire. That's the law, especially if you are just starting a business. There is no need having anyone in the business that is not adding value. So for instance, we if you hire somebody that, let's say for instance in the startup world, because what matters is the perfection of your execution, and execution has to do with product and speed. So if you hire someone that is already used to maybe planning for 2 weeks, and after the plan they will talk to the vendors for another 1 week, then obviously you can't work with us. Yeah, that's a very good thing to do in a place like Coca-Cola or a Starbucks, and that's not something to do in. So we hired someone that said, oh, I work on my own terms. Oh, definitely, it's very good. It's very lovely that you work on your own terms, but it's not acceptable at Eazipay because we know the state we are in. We are not deceiving ourselves. We know that, so again, the things that we look at for are that kind of alignment. We need to be aligned in vision. Then in terms of skills, I mean, there are some skills that can be learned. So you just need to have the foundational skills for something. I mean, like gave you an example about Kingsley. Kingsley is a very intelligent guy. He studied accounting from Covenant University, but he's now the lead engineer in the team. He's my co-founder. He has done everything from Python to networking, to database engineering and all that. He has done machine learning, artificial intelligence, some things about biological analysis, and then several things. And it's not 30, it's like 24. So in case you are saying I use 5 years to learn it, no, you didn't use 5 years. You use like
Wow.
1 month to deliver. I think he built our payment infrastructure in like 2 months.
Wow.
So I mean, again, what do I don't have a master. Casey does not have a master. Yeah, he supposed to have a PhD, but I mean, those things don't matter at the end of the day. I can't remember anything they taught me in university. I used to tell people. So, do I look at educational qualification? Maybe I'll probably look at it to show a pattern, right? But what is really more important is that you prove yourself, because that's what I told myself when I was leaving school. I told myself that I was going to prove myself to everybody, and I mean, just don't deceive yourself. If you need to carry with a first class, or if you need to go to a good school, then you have to prove yourself. You have to. There is no short. Do you get, like, if you are talking to me, if you are talking to anybody, they will already have an impression. You can't do anything about that impression. So the only thing you got to do is to prove yourself that you know what. I know that basically you're going to have this basic impression, but this is actually what I am, and that's what I have done all my life. And people see me today, they think I went to the best school in the world. They think that it's a lie. So it's just that I've applied myself. I know that I probably read more than anybody I will ever meet. I know that I've probably listened to podcasts more than anybody I will ever meet. I know that as a business book is coming out, I know that you will tell me if a business book comes out today and I don't know about it and you tell me about it, I will not be happy, because that's how I apply myself. That's how I know that I need to be better. So until I get to the point where I'm sure a lot of people didn't know about me today. So I mean, so that's why you need to continue to apply yourself, because you be deceiving yourself. If I've raised $50 million, my business is worth 5 billion. But I mean, how many people know you? What have you done? What's your impact? That kind of stuff. So everybody still has a long way to go, right? So so just be very frank. I mean, if you've ever read this book, Good to Great, one of the reasons why businesses become great is that they face the brutal fact of their reality, and that has always been my mantra in my life, and now my wife has also accepted it as a mantra. You must always face the brutal fact of your reality. You can't run away from it. If you run away from it, it's going to meet you at the end of the day. So a lot of people are scared. A lot of people are afraid. I have friends families that are afraid of taking action. I mean, I indulge them because I can't live your life for you. Do you get?
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I tell everybody, you would face the consequences of all these actions. You know, so it's we certain. Is it going to be hard? Certainly it's going to be hard. But you know what? It's just going to be hard for this early part of your life. You're going to enjoy the rest part, the remaining, part of your life if you apply yourself right now and you form the right habits and all that. So again, skills, yeah, of course, because skills are important. So if you've been, I don't want to be so specific. So let me give you an instance. If, for instance, you've been on a job for 10 years and you've not really improved as much as I can, as much as I would love you to, right? And what if your eyes opened in 10th year and you start applying yourself? Okay. So what I'm saying is that you just need to prove yourself that you know what, Asha, yeah, I know that I've messed up this last 10 years. I didn't do what I'm supposed to do, but now I'm ready to apply myself. So you will still go through some pain. So the pain of, okay, Asha won't pay you what you should be earning, or what he wants to pay someone that has developed themselves. But if you are willing to go through the process, eventually either Asha or somebody else will pay you. Do you get? So that's what I mean. So you might not have the skills right now, but what are you telling us? What are you telling yourself? You know, education, not really. Education is a good pointer to something. So if you graduated from a good university, graduated with a first class, I mean, it's a no-brainer, right? So interview goes fast, yeah. But if you have maybe two like myself, and you graduated from OAU, it's just for you to work hard. Like, prove yourself. That's it. Just prove yourself. And I mean, I know the best student in my class was, I won't mention his name. I mean, he's a manager in Coca-Cola right now. Top manager, by the way. I think he's in Canada right now. Works with one of the, he works with one of the top engineering companies. But apart from, how do I put this in a very sane way? But the thing is, there's really nothing to envy, right? Like,
Yeah.
we are on two different planes, and I like my life. Do you get, like, so perfect? So you just need to apply yourself. It didn't look like that at first, and that's the point I'm trying to make. I mean, when
Yeah.
we got out of school, he got a fantastic job. I mean, he graduated first class. Was the best student in the department. So he got a job. I think at one of these 7 Up, and it was growing fast. When I was trekking to work, obviously I had car, that kind of stuff. But who cares? And that's the thing. I don't care. I don't give it, like, I don't care because at the end of the day, the end justifies to me. So you gotta be focused, and know what you want. And that's why I said that in the beginning, everything depends on you as a person, and that's why you attract, the like my co-founder, Fusa. I mean, super smart guy, got into university at 13, as his PhD now, I think at 25 or 26, so super smart. So,
All right.
but that's him, right?
Mm.
So everybody has their journey, and let's just focus on the potential and how aggressive you are at achieving that, and everything will be fine.
All right. Thank you so much. So we have some questions coming in. That's what I was checking. I also check our chat box. So if you have any question, you can put in the chat box, or you can raise your hand and I'll ask for you. Okay, so we have a question. You said about, okay, you talked, okay, you have 2 in 1 question. So you talked about grants, right? How um startups should like position themselves for grants, because what I picked from there was you said you sell your vision, and it's your vision that will make people give you the grant, because they have to believe in your vision. So if you don't believe in your vision for yourself, you don't expect others to believe it for you. So now this question is, so how do I position myself for a grant, and how do I get a grant? That's one question. And then the second one is, how do you handle loss? Have you ever had a loss in business, and how did you handle it? So we have 2 questions. So you can answer the first one. How do you position yourself for grants, and how do you get the grant? Then also, have you had any loss in business, and how did you pass that phase? Yeah.
Yeah, so grants, it depends on the type of grant you're applying for, right? So it really depends. And one thing that you should, I think the thing about grants and awards and all these things is that there is always a trick to it. And when I mean a trick is that if you study it very well, if you read about it very well, there's always something they are looking for. Always something they are looking for. So some of the awards that I've gotten and has been celebrated, I kind of knew that they were going to take me because I just studied those guys to a fault. So, and that's what I mean. You know, just apply, like just study, just like I've even helped others that I know, and that's the thing. I mean, I don't help. Some people will just send me stuff, and I say, "Oh yeah, that's fine." But when I know that you are onto something great, something worthwhile, something that's value to the community, yeah, I help out. And there's always so the thing is just look at. I can't answer that. You know, I can give you a basic like, oh, make sure that you're doing something that really solves the problem. But everybody's doing that, right? Like this program, this podcast is solving a problem, right? So, but I think the thing is, whatever you're applying for, in fact, from the questions, you already know what they're looking for, right? Then look at the past winners. What do they have in common? All right, what do they have in common? You might see a lot of their stories online. You might see a lot of things that they've written online, and if you can reach out to one or two of them, you can. Excuse me. So just ask yourself what they have in common, because there are a lot of brands. I mean, there are a lot of brands. I remember there was a particular grant that I got to the top, I think top 10. Yeah, I mean, I can even say the Global Citizen Award. I got to the top 10, and I knew that I couldn't make the top three because of the way the award was structured. They just said, hey, still apply. They were telling me apply to apply. I was like, I applied. When they come, I said, yeah, I know that. Because that's not what they're looking for. Yeah, I got to top 10 because maybe, they couldn't just not give top 10, right? But, so that's what I mean. So, just study it a lot. We've gotten a lot of awards. There's still one that we're doing due diligence for. I mean, we knew that, and the thing is that we did it last year, we didn't get it. This year, and we went back to, okay, why didn't we get it? And we went back to application, we saw reasons, and, so kind of just study. So the last thing I'll say on this is, if a child takes your deck or your application and doesn't understand it, then forget about it. If a child takes your application and they are reading and they are seeing a lot of machine learning, artificial intelligence, all these jargons, forget about it. Just forget about it, because they have, especially I have to 20,000 applications, 10,000. How will we reading? Like, you just got to see that, oh, I'm Eazipay, I am payroll for Africa, or I'm this for Nigeria, or this. That's all. Then it's, oh, okay, let's see what they do. Oh, they have this feature, they have this feature. That's all. Nobody really cares about the thousands of solutions that you have. So just make it simple and direct. Have I ever faced failures in business? Yes, no. Plenty. Plenty. I faced a lot. There was a time that somebody sent me, a government, it's not even somebody, a government sent me double money, like 10 million. So they were supposed to send me 10 million, then they sent me 20 million, 10 million twice. And as the second 10 million entered, there was a debit of, I think, 7 million or so. And I didn't have money. Like, I didn't have money because I was supposed to pay LinkedIn some money and blah, blah. So I didn't have money. I was like, hey, this is how EFCC starts. Oh. Oh my God. I was super nervous that period. So what I did was, I went to meet my friend who got the contract, and I said, see what has happened. My friend is a sanguine, very, very extroverted. She was just like, hey, what are we going to do? I was like, I came to tell you that what you do, you're adding pepper of fun, But I got a loan, which was, they were charging me 10% per month, and I paid the state government back, and then the loan guys would call me. So I didn't have, after the first 2 months, I didn't have any 10% again. So they were calling me. I'll be talking calmly. I don't have the cash flow. I don't have the cash to pay any interest. like, what should we do? What should I say? I don't know. Like, I don't know. Like, because the thing is that before I started owing, I was like, what can I even do? Like, there's nothing else I can do again. So, and I have to pick their call, because if I don't pick their call, they might resort to, they, at least if they say they want to come and use police to arrest me, I'll be prepared. I will tell people. So it's better I pick their call and they tell me. so, I'm saying all that because it is what it is. Like, don't just confront it. Just think about how you can resolve it. If you can resolve it, fine. If you can't resolve it, don't kill yourself. I know you can kill yourself, but don't kill yourself. You get just just live life. Don't be. You see me, you won't know that there's a problem. Like, in fact, how did that problem get solved? My friend, I was in the US, and then my friend just told me that she had paid. I was like, you have paid? And she told me she had paid like a month pyro. I was like, you have paid a month and you're just telling me. so, so that's how God works, right? That's how God works. Because she wasn't even happy that I was paying 10% per month. She was shouting at you, how can you pay 10% per month? Why would they collect that from you? That's not fair. That's not right. I was like, well, so, what again? What other failure? Real failure, we've done a lot of projections that we didn't meet. Okay. Like, when you collect investors' money, and you told investors that, in 10 months' time, 1,000. You are in the 10th month, maybe you have like 50. What will you do? Is that not mega failure? You just tell them now, okay, we have 50, but this is what cost is. This is what we need to do differently. It keeps, image is very important. Your image is very important. And what you do every day adds up to that. Do you get it? So just have I done businesses that have lost money? No, I haven't. That one I have not lost money, because before I do something that I'll lose money in, you have to try. So one of my family members told me, "Oh, I'm making this thing every month, 10% or 20% or whatever percent." I don't understand. So if I don't understand something, I'm not going to do it. So, and if I understand and it doesn't make sense, like, if whatever I'm doing, a bank cannot do it, an investment firm will not do it, why will I now do it? Like, what am I looking for? So, so I've not lost money in that sense. But that's why I give you those examples, because I've not put money in something that I will now lose money. No.
Okay. Thank you very much for that. Okay, so Seda, you have a question. You raised your hand, so let's take your question now.
Okay. Thanks for the talk. It's been helpful a lot. So my question is, when you're starting up a startup at the early stages, getting money, having money is very, very hard. It's not something you can actually go around. Then we now talk about having a team, because when you're growing a startup, and especially a tech startup, you really need a team to help you build what you're doing. And the thing is, when you bring people together, they at the initial stage are very excited, but the truth is that as time goes on, you actually need money to keep yourself alive and keep going.
Yeah.
So it seems that everybody starts going out, people start losing interest at some time, not because of the idea, but because of that income is not really there. So what advice will you really give to, like, a startup founder that is trying to get everything going, and actually trying to keep the team together so they not break apart before they reach their seed round or something like that?
I think the first thing I'll answer your question, but the first thing that just came to my mind is, if your startup is not gaining any traction, please don't borrow money to fund it. That's the first thing that just came to my mind. If as startup founders, well, I don't know, but I myself know my business. If your startup is not gaining any traction, like, you are not moving ahead with product. Let me give you an instance. We started building Eazipay in 2020, January 2020. By December 2020, I let everybody go because I wouldn't borrow money to pay them. And they were not, they would tell me, oh, product will be ready in 2 months, product will be ready in 2 weeks, and it was not ready. So I let everybody go. So it was just myself, Kingsley, and Efosa remaining. And Kingsley spent the next, Kingsley was the only guy where, apart from a young person that I got that were paying 100K, I just needed to help Kingsley for something. We built whatever we needed to get to a point where we could at least get one customer. Do you get? So what you need to do as a startup is, if you have a little savings, you can spend on whatever you want to spend, or whatever idea that you have, that however you want to do it, you can spend your money on it. You have savings. But do not borrow if your startup doesn't have any traction. The other thing is, you can't do it alone, so get co-founders. Talk to your friends, anybody you know that you think, this person has a good attitude, is a good person, or you want to talk to someone to recommend. Talk to people, and see if they will work with you, and if they are meeting their milestones, they say, oh, I will do this thing by Sunday, and they do it by Sunday, or they do it by Monday, the communication is flowing well, you guys are communicating well, that's a very good person, so you want to keep them on the thing. So do something small to get one customer. Like, do something small. We built a payroll platform rather. We launched July last year to our very first customer. We've not finished building that payroll till today. We're improving a lot on it. Like, we're improving so massive, and that's with a lot of funding that has even come in. So just imagine that we had to wait, for funds to come in. We had to hire a bunch of people. So what we did was, Kingsley, let's focus. One person, focus on this part of product. Let's launch this simple technology. So we're doing a lot of back-end manual work. But at least you can log in, you can fill in some information, and we can process it manually at the back. What a lot of people try to do is they want to do everything that Flutterwave is doing. No, you will still do a lot of manual. Maybe it's for your first 100 customers or whatever. But what you need is that at least you are gaining traction. So traction is two: customers and product. Customers and product. Customer and product. You must have those two tracks. Every other thing is not really as important as these two. So if your customer base is increasing, that's a very good traction. And if you have crossed these two, then as a CEO, your job is that your company should not run out of money. So your job is to start thinking about the different financing opportunities that are available. So you get, if you want to take a loan, then the business should take a loan. So if it's a limited liability business, it means that if the business cannot pay, every asset of the business will be sold to repay the loan, or the loan will go delinquent, So you have to weigh your options. Do you get? Then carefully apply to accelerators, Google Startup, all these different things are available. Apply to them. When we were early last year, July, we sent our deck out. Wanted to raise $150,000 at a 1.5%, 1.5 million valuation. That's 10%. We were like, you don't have a product that is really ready. You're competing with these guys, blah blah blah. At the end of the day, we raised so much more than that at a very, very great valuation. So just journey through, and it's not an easy path. It's not an easy path. It's going to be hard. One of the hardest things to do is fundraising. Forget about how people paint it. We were able to fundraise because we got into Y Combinator. It was very easy for us to fundraise, because Y Combinator already gave us 500K. So to raise the other 1.something million was really, really easy. So I wouldn't I mean, if you get into Y Combinator, your life is good, right? Because you're already even at 500K first. So, but apart from that, what you need to do strategically now is be friends with people that have fundraised. Do you get? Be friends with people that genuine friends. So don't say because there are people that will not just not be friends and just be very parasitic. So be friends with people that also know people that fund companies. That we go to event and introduce yourself to people that fund companies. Tell them what you are doing. You don't have to tell them that you are raising funds. You can just say, oh, you want to send a deck to them. Just if it catches their fancy or catches their attention, and they want to, be part of something. Never give a shares to anybody that does not give you. Never. Do you get? Never give any shares to anybody that don't give you money. Forget. They will say, "I'll give you 2% advice, so I'll connect it to somebody else." Let them connect you and receive the money first before you give any shares. So those are some of the things.
Wow. Thank you very much. I learned a lot from that actually. So Sarah, do you have a question? Your hands were raised while he was speaking.
Yeah. So he talked about get into an accelerator and stuff like that. And I know that's one of the mistakes I made when I started out was I just had a design for my prototype and I applied to Y Combinator like twice and I knew I didn't get in. And now I kind of understand that it's because of I don't really have an MVP. I don't have like users already. But the thing is that when it comes to early founders, one thing that fuels our selves is that we have this big idea, this grand idea that we want to expose to the world, so everybody will see. So it gets hard for us to like boil down to a particular MVP, like which particular feature do we want to put into this MVP? What is the thing we're going to like pinpoint on and say, okay, this is the first thing we're going to put out to the world. So the question here is like how will you advise founders to like pick a feature for their MVP? Like I'm working on an LMS, that is a learning management system currently. I'm trying to go into the edtech space. There are many of these features like classroom conferencing for classroom, video conferencing for classroom. You have note sharing, you have all these features that needs to go in here. So how will you advise founders now to pick a particular feature that they would be able to start out with and then scale from there and go ahead to every other thing?
All right. Very practical question. I think that if we have some time, I will have even delved more into that. So the example you gave to me is a very so I've invested in an edtech company too, and 2 weeks ago I saw a particular company that has over 10,000 videos, that they've done. I was shocked for all subjects. For junior secondary, for senior secondary. I was like, how my own company that invested in this, and this company has not even launched. So this company has not, because the founder has money. They've only sold their product to the federal government, blah blah blah. So when you look at some of the ideas that we have, and we wanted to build a human resource system, a whole gamut of human resource system. It was taking time, so we had to sit back and say, you know what, we can't build this thing. And even now, we've not set a time to build it. What we have set time to do is to build, the payroll system and payment system and some other things. So the first thing is to ask your users, your intended users, what exactly the problem is. And don't ask them, don't ask them closed-looped questions. Ask them open-ended questions, right? Like, oh, tell me about your day in school. How do you teach your students? What are the things that pain you the most about teaching? How do you think you can do your job better? Don't ask them, oh, do you think if you have this? I mean, they will say, yeah, they like it. But just ask them several questions and figure out how to get insight. Because what you're trying to do is you're trying to get the most important problem, the most pressing problem, that you can sell to them. So, and if you are in a particular location outside Lagos, that would be fantastic because Lagos is saturated. So your product can be, what's a famous tech company that I can remember? Your product can be classroom for indigenous or indigent, classroom for underserved communities in Nigeria, something like that. I'm just saying, like, so that's how you just need to, for you to get to that point, you need to ask your users questions. Until you ask your users questions and get some answers, you might not get to that point. Do you get? So that is my feedback on that.
Thank
There
you
is
for
this video on Y Combinator YouTube channel, how to ask your users questions. I've forgotten the guy that did it, but it's a guy that I think he sold a business for $2 or $3 billion. So you can check it out. That will answer all your questions. And you can also check other YC videos. That will answer all your questions. I know you have more questions, but just go check YC channel and you get it.
All right. Thank you so much, because we've spent more than the time allocated and we don't want to take into our other time. So thank you so much, everyone, for this. But before you go, just any last word you'd like to leave with us?
Thank you, the team, for inviting me. I think this is my last event for the year by God's grace.
Wow.
Doing a startup is hard. It's very hard. If we have women here that are doing startups, I want you to know that some of us support a lot of startups being run by women, and we want to do more. We want to see more startups being run by women. It's not a cliche, but it's just that you bring a lot more to the table, because you can multitask, you can do a lot of things. So that is one. The second thing is, be hard on yourself, but don't be also hard on yourself. The journey is hard. Just know that the journey is hard. So if you meet your target, you don't meet your target, it's part of the journey. The most important thing is that you are learning something. Do you get? The founder of Puli got into Y Combinator. This is their third time. At first, 2 startups failed. But Puli now is doing so much better. So the first startup might not be, the second startup might not be known. Maybe the third one will be, maybe the fourth one will be. Who knows? You get? But the key thing is just keep learning. Just keep learning. I was watching a lot of Y Combinator videos, a lot. So that was why I was even rest assured that, hey, even if this thing doesn't work, something else will work. I don't know what will work. And that's the thing. You don't have to predict the future. You don't have to be, the guy that will predict the future. Just keep doing you. Just keep, as you take a step, you know that you are taking a right step, but be listening to your inner voice to say, okay, what are the metrics that shows that this step is good? So if the step you are taking is bringing in more customers, obviously that's the right step. If the step you are taking is not helping you launch every week, because as a startup, you should be launching something every week. So if something is not being launched every week, then you probably are not doing something correctly. So that's that. And I think the last thing is take care of yourself. Take care of yourself. Alcohol, drugs doesn't help. Doesn't help at all. A lot of sleep helps. a lot of sleep. So minimum of 7 hours helps. So I know that sometimes we go, marathon, but then we need to then crash and allow our system to rejuvenate, because at the end of the day, if we are not here, life is on. You know, so try and do what you can to rest, take care of yourself, play, have a routine that you follow, and help other people succeed. All right.
Thank you so much. Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Ashadini, for this wonderful interview. You can follow him on LinkedIn. He's Ashadini. Check him out on LinkedIn. You can follow him on LinkedIn. And if you have any question, you can reach out to him. I'm sure he would love to answer it. Okay, so thank you. And also, this is Walure Capital. You can also follow us on Instagram, on our social media handles, on Instagram, on LinkedIn, and on Twitter at Walure Capital. So you can just search in Walure Capital. Let me see if I can drop the link to our social media handles. So you can just search for Walure Capital and you can follow us. Okay, I want to say a very big thank you to each and every one of us. Thank you for staying from the beginning right up till the end. I want to say a very, very, very big thank you. I'm trying to drop in the links now so you can just access us and reach out to us. So if you have any questions, if you have any anything you want us to know about, any conversation you would like to have with us, you can reach out to us. We're at Walure Capital, and we're sure to respond to your messages. Our social media handlers would respond to your messages. So I'll be dropping the links right about now, and so you can reach out to us and ask your question. So can you confirm if you can see the links? So yes, thank you so much, everyone. Can we see the links I dropped in the chat box, please?
Yes, we can. Yes, we can.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay, so thank you very much. If you have any questions, we have episodes of this where we bring in tech CEOs, CTOs, co-founders of startups. So, and we don't just streamline it to just fintech. We have where we bring people from edutech. Yes, so we have other people that we introduce, and we ensure that we give you, our customers, who are tech startup founders or people who are looking forward to working in a startup, or want to learn about how to build their startup. So we have this conversation monthly. And so if you have any other questions or any other observation, you can reach out to us on our social media handles and we'll be sure to respond to you. So thank you very much. My name is Sarah Yemi, and I am very grateful for each and every one of us that has been here to the end. So thank you and have a good evening, good day, and a good weekend. Thank you.